It's Alter Edgo again, and I'm sitting here with two absolute legends, the Queensland heroes, Billy the Woke Kid and J Tabone. How you going, boys? Thanks for coming to Alter's place.
Yeah, thanks, Alter.
So, Bill, we share the same hometown.
That's right, Edgo. Good old Innisfail.
Yeah, what's it like to be adored in the place where you were born and where you were given a ticker tape parade for scoring a great origin try?
I wasn't actually born in Innisfail. I was born in Bundaberg, actually.
You're not from Innisfail? Fair income. And you moved away when you were around 18 to play footy. See? That's how big-hearted people are from Innisfail. They took him in, made him feel welcome, followed him, supported him all through his career. That's great. Okay, now, I'm not sure how often you get back to Innisfail, but there's a lot of crocs up there now.
Yeah, there are, I know.
Hey, you remember when they still skied in the Johnson? And they have the state championships for water skiing, and all the Southerners turned up and there was a croc sunning itself on the ski ramp. And they all turned around and went straight home. Bloody wusses.
Yeah, wusses alright.
You must know a bit about crocs, eh, J Tabone? Is Mick your old man? Yeah, but seriously, I had a run-in with a croc not long ago. Yeah, last time I was on the farm. 14-footer walked across the track straight after old Woke walked to the ute. Fair dinkum. Must have gotten out of the drain, ready to attack, but old Woke kept walking too fast, so decided to just wander across the headland straight in. Parked the ute right next to where it would have been. Young Woke would have got out and stood on the mongrel if he got out. Yeah, this is about 600 yards from the Bruce Highway, you know where Nins Creek goes under the highway there? Yeah. Fair dinkum, not going to be long before someone gets taken. Of course, if it's a Murray kid, could take a few more, you know. Everyone's a little bit more laid back when it's a Murray kid, you know, like they die in the watch house or something, you know. What do you reckon, JT? 3 Abo kids to 1 white kid? Sound about right? Yeah, for Asian kids, probably 2 to 1 white kid. About right, yeah? Yeah, it's a bit like over there in Ukraine. Lots of hot chicks in sad situations. Really gets me when I see good-looking people like me in sad situations. And the kids. Oh, the kids. You know, we've seen lots of Syrian kids and lots of kids from Africa affected by war, but it's just not the same, is it? Yeah. And what about, you know, the kids that die on the boats, you know, trying to get around all the legal ways that you can get away from famine and war. You know, probably, what, 100 of those kids? 1, 2, 3, 4, 100 to get up to 1 white kid? Probably, yeah.
Hey, hang on, I'm not comfortable with what you're saying.
Bill, I think you spent too long in la-di-da, Mogochino, Fomochino, Melbourne. But that gets me on to the topic of this year's State of Origin. I think it's safe to say that a lot of people were very surprised that you could sort of speak okay.
Yeah, well, thanks.
I didn't say me. Every time I bloody heard you, I heard you talking about connection and all this other woke shit. There's something about Upunto, your fishing dinghy or something. I mean, what's the go there?
Well, Ubuntu is an ancient philosophy from the Zulu in Africa, which says that I am because you are, meaning that everyone and everything is connected. So it means that to get anything worthwhile done, then we have to value above all else our connection to each other and to the world around us.
Yeah, well, I think I got you, sort of. But I'll tell you what, you're spot on about the resilience of us Queenslanders, you know. It's so right, so spot on. I remember, you know, growing up on the farm, sugar price collapsed in the 80s. Just don't talk about it. Just stuff it in that bottle and tighten the lid. Alright? Paddock eaten by grubs, can't be harvested. More pain. Just stuff it in that bottle. Screw that lid on tighter, mate. Tighter. Then we have what Cyclone Winifred, crop wiped out. Stuff that in. Don't talk to anybody about it. Just stuff tighter. Tighter. And then, you know, you're worried about the bag foreclosing on you. Don't talk about it. Shove it in that bottle and screw that lid on as tight as you can. And then bloody hope you don't explode before you die.
Well, yeah, but that's really unhealthy, Alta. That's why you have to build strong connections within communities so that we can all help each other when we need help. Remember, I am because you are, and you are because I am. You have to rely on and trust in your mates sometimes. None of us can do it all on our own. I'm sure you've helped your mates a lot in your life, and I'm sure if you asked for help, you would get a ton of it, and love back straight to you.
Well, that got a bit deep. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I guess that's why some of us from the country get a bit disconnected and hard-hearted. Maybe some who don't fit the mold, get a bit angry. Okay, where were we anyway?
Connection, inclusion, Ubuntu.
Oh yeah, so all that woke shit. So, what I realised was you had the most massive crowd in a dressing shed I'd ever seen, which was great for everybody there. But where were the Asians? And where were the Africans? And where were the South Americans? Let alone some North Americans. I mean, you know, I hear some workplaces have quotas on people, Sheilas and whatever. You would never do that for the Queensland team, would you? Because I tell you what, if it was based on here in Innisfail these days, you'd have to have a few Indians and a few Mongs in there as well.
Yeah, well, I think in something so specialised and talent-based, with only a select number of spots available, I think everyone wants us to pick the very best side we can. Let me say this though, there is nothing that I love more than learning about the diverse cultures of my players, knowing them and them knowing that I genuinely care about them and who they really are. That is what Queenslander spirit is all about. That is the key to our success on the footy field, and I really hope that we can carry that message out into the wider community. And for the record, if the best Queensland players were ever all of Asian background, or First Nations, or African for that matter, then that is the team that would be picked. And if I had the privilege to coach them, then the only difference would be the culture that I had the opportunity to learn about and develop deep connection with.
Now JT, you were a big part of one of the most exciting times in my family's history. Cowboys 2015. You thought that conversion was going through, didn't you? Eh? Right. Since I never thought I'd meet you, JT, I just want to say I've never thought of you as just an abo. Okay? Yeah, well, you know, not wanting to be politically correct or anything, but have you ever been to Norman or places like that? Yeah, when we went camping up there in Normanton, after half a carton, my uncle would get drunk and, you know, get up and start dancing like a gin at the Purple Pub. And then sometimes he'd act like, you know, like the day that the giddy grass behind the pub got lit and all the abos ran out. They went me flagging, yeah!
Look, you will call this off straight away if you're going to go on being so disrespectful to me and the other First Nations people. Most racists say racist things behind our backs, but you're so unbelievably ignorant you're saying it to my face.
Now look, JT, I'll tell you something. I had this cockroach, mate, you know, during the footy, during Origin. He'd always text me, you know, having a load of rumbos. And the more they'd lose, the more shit he'd start hanging on you and GI and everyone. Yeah, this bloke's a real goose. He's from Taree. Latrell's from Taree. And, I should give you his details to get in touch with him. Anyway, I started ghosting him and not responding or anything. And then he wrote back and said, "What happened to you? Back in the day you were more racist than me." And I just said, as I cancelled him, I just said to him, "Mate, you can say whatever you like about abos, but when they're in a Queensland jersey, they're my abos." There you go, JT. You're welcome.
Alter, I think this is terrible. Are you really sitting in front of me with the audacity to say that you only care about me because I play football? So does that mean that you only cared about me when I still played football? What about now? How about my family and my mates? And what about others who I don't know either? You just see the black skin and you make assumptions that ultimately mean you care less about them and me.
Well, mate, I'll always stick up for you, mate. I reckon I owe it to you, 2015, Cowboys and Origin and all. But yeah, I guess you got a point. I wouldn't know if it was your family or your mates, even if I wanted to know. And yeah, I guess if you become less famous, I guess, because let's face it, as a commentator, that bloody ridiculous laugh is going to wear off on people pretty quickly. Yeah, so I guess, if I didn't recognise you, then I mightn't be able to stick up for you. That reminds me, I saw an interview with the understudy to Wally Lewis one time, and he reckoned he was out at a bar, and some fella come up to him and said, "Hey, didn't you used to be Brett Kenny?" Like he wasn't like who he was, because he's not famous anymore. Yeah, so I guess if you got older and you weren't famous, I probably just see the black skin and really not know who you were.
See, Dad, that's why it's important to always see people for who they really are, not for who you want them to be. So you will always have a real connection with and appreciation for who they are. And when they truly know that, they will feel genuinely loved and like they belong. That's how you repay other people, all people. And that's how we all can be the best versions of ourselves.
Bloody woke, kid.